Hey everyone! Today we are going to talk about transportation in English.
That's right. Hi, I'm Rose.
And I'm Ben. Welcome back to English Mindset, the channel where we make learning English simple and fun.
If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and click the like button. It really helps us make more videos for you.
Absolutely. All right, so transportation. It's something we all use every day, right?
Yes, exactly. Whether it's going to school, work, or just visiting friends, we use different types of transportation.
And today we'll talk about different ways to get around, how to ask for directions, and some common phrases you can use in English.
Sounds good. So let's start with the most basic types of transportation.
Sure. Well, the first one is walking.
Yes, walking is simple and free. It's also healthy.
Definitely. And in English, you can say, I usually walk to work, or I like walking in the park.
Right. And sometimes, if it's a long distance, walking is not enough. Then we need other transportation, like bicycles.
Ah, bicycles. I love riding a bike. In English, we can say, I ride my bike to school, or I like riding my bike on weekends.
That's right. And notice the word ride. We use ride with bicycles, motorcycles, horses, or even scooters.
Good point. Now, if the distance is longer, we usually take cars.
Yes, a car is very common. You can say, I drive a car, or I go to work by car.
And if you don't have a car, sometimes you take a taxi.
Oh, yes. In English, we often say, I take a taxi, or I called a taxi to the airport.
And here's a small tip. The word take is important. We use take with many types of transportation.
Right. You can take a bus, take the train, or take a plane. We'll talk more about that soon.
Okay, so we've talked about walking, biking, cars, and taxis. What's next?
Let's talk about buses. They're very common in cities.
Yes, you can say, I take the bus every morning, or the bus is usually late.
And sometimes you might need a bus ticket. In English, ticket is the piece of paper you buy to ride the bus or train.
That's right. And many cities also have subways, or as some people call them, the underground or the metro.
Right. And you can say, I take the subway to work, or the subway is very fast.
And subways usually have many stops, so it's important to know your station.
Good point. You might ask, which station is closest? Or, does this train stop at Central Station?
Perfect. Now let's talk about trains. Trains are very useful for longer distances, like between cities.
Yes, you can say, I take the train to visit my parents, or the train is very comfortable.
And airplanes. They are faster, especially for long distances or traveling to another country.
Right. You can say, I take a plane to London, or the plane leaves at 9 a.m.
And notice with planes, we often say leave instead of go. For example, the plane leaves at 5 p.m., not the plane goes at 5 p.m.
That's a good point, Ben. Okay, so we've talked about walking, bikes, cars, taxis, buses, subways, trains, and planes. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yes, but don't worry. We'll practice all these words and phrases again later in the video.
Exactly. Now, Ben, what about motorcycles and scooters? Some people use them every day.
Yes, good idea. You can say, I ride my motorcycle to work, or I use a scooter to go to school.
And remember, we use ride again with motorcycles, not drive.
That's right. And if you want to be more polite, you can say, excuse me, is it safe to ride a scooter here?
Great. So now we can move to a small story. I always like stories because they help me remember new words.
Sure, Rose. Do you have a story about transportation?
Yes, last week I had a problem with my transportation. I usually take the bus to work, but the bus was very late.
Oh, no. What did you do?
Well, I had to take a taxi, so I called a taxi, and then I said to the driver, please take me to Main Street.
Perfect. That's a good example of real English in a situation.
Yes, and I learned something new. Sometimes we can ask, how long does it take? For example, how long does it take to get to the airport by taxi?
Excellent. That's a very useful question.
And I also noticed that in English we can ask, which bus goes to the city center? Or, is this the right train for Central Station?
Very good, Rose. These are exactly the phrases beginners need.
Yes. And, sometimes people mix words. They say, I go by car or I go by bus. Both are okay, but if you want to sound more natural, I take the bus is better.
Right. So take for public or shared transportation and drive for your own car.
Exactly. Okay, so we talked about different types of transportation. Now let's talk about some phrases when you are asking for directions.
Good idea. For example, if you are on the street and you want to take a bus, you can say, "Excuse me, where is the bus stop?"
Or, which bus goes to the train station?
And if you are on a subway, you can ask, "Which line goes to the airport?"
Yes, and remember, in English, we often say line for subway lines. For example, take the red line to Central Station.
Perfect. And sometimes we can ask, "How much is a ticket?" Or, "How often does the bus come?"
Right, these are very important phrases.
And if you are in a taxi, you can say, "Can you take me to Main Street?" Or, "Please drive slowly."
Yes, and don't forget please and thank you. Politeness is very important in English.
Absolutely.
So we have talked about types of transportation, asking for directions, and useful phrases. That's a lot for the first part, isn't it?
Yes, but we'll practice everything again later with some examples.
Exactly. And before we move to the next part, let's have a short conversation example.
Great.
Hi, Ben. How do you go to work every day?
Hi, Rose. I usually take the subway. It's fast and easy.
That's good. And do you like it?
Yes, I do. But sometimes I walk if the weather is nice.
That's smart. Walking is healthy.
Yes. And you, Rose? How do you go to school?
I take a bus, but last week the bus was late, so I took a taxi.
Oh, I see. Sometimes it happens.
Yes, and I asked the driver, how long does it take to get there?
Perfect. That's a very good question.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, Rose, now that we talked about different types of transportation, let's share some personal experiences. I think that helps a lot when learning English.
Yes, I agree. Personal stories make it easier to remember phrases.
So, I remember last summer I visited my cousin in another city. I usually take the train when I travel.
Ah, trains are very comfortable, right?
Yes, they are. And they're relaxing, too. You can sit, read a book, or even look at the view outside.
I like that too. Sometimes I take a bus for a short trip, but it's not as comfortable as the train.
Right, and buses can be slower, especially if there's traffic.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes when I travel a long distance, I prefer taking a plane. It's much faster.
True. I remember one time I flew to another city. I said to the pilot, "Thank you for the safe flight," just to be polite.
That's nice. And in English, when you talk about planes, you can also use words like flight, airport, and boarding.
Yes, for example, my flight leaves at 7 p.m., or I'm waiting at the airport for boarding.
Good example. And sometimes people ask, where is the boarding gate? Or which gate is mine? Perfect.
Okay, Rose, let's talk about daily routines with transportation. For example, I usually wake up at 7 a.m., have breakfast, and then leave home at 7:45.
And how do you go to work?
I take the subway. Usually it takes about 30 minutes. Sometimes it's crowded, but it's okay.
That's true. And I usually take the bus to school. I leave home at 8 a.m. The bus ride is about 40 minutes.
That's good. And what do you do during the ride?
I usually listen to music or read a book. It's relaxing.
Nice. And sometimes I like walking to the subway station if the weather is nice. Walking is a good exercise.
Yes, and it's free.
True. And for weekends, I sometimes ride my bike in the park. It's fun and healthy.
I like that too. On Sundays, I often ride my scooter to visit friends. It's fast and convenient.
That's interesting. And it's also important to know vocabulary for emergencies or problems with transportation.
Oh, yes, like when the bus is late or the subway stops working.
That's right. For example, you can say, the bus is late, or I missed my train.
And sometimes, if there is a taxi problem, you can say, the taxi driver is lost, or I need help, please.
Good phrases. And you can also ask, is there another way to get there?
Yes, that's very useful. And sometimes people ask for the fastest route. For example, which way is faster to the airport?
Right. And here's a tip for beginners. When you ask for directions, you can use turn left, turn right, or go straight.
Yes. For example, go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. The bus stop is on your right.
Perfect. That's a clear way to give directions.
And in English, sometimes people use intersection, which is where 2 streets cross.
Oh yes, for example, the bus stop is near the first intersection.
Exactly. And sometimes you might see signs like subway station, bus stop, or taxi stand.
Very good. These are important words to know.
Now, Ben, let's talk about comparisons. Some people like cars, others like bikes.
Sure. For example, I prefer the subway because it's fast. I don't like driving in traffic.
I understand. And I like buses because I can sit and relax, but sometimes they are slow.
Right. And bikes are good for short distances. They are healthy and fun, but not good if it rains.
Yes, and planes are great for long trips, but they can be expensive.
True. And taxis are convenient, but sometimes they are slow in traffic too.
That's right. And motorcycles and scooters are fast for short distances, but they are not always safe.
Right. So every type of transportation has advantages and disadvantages.
Yes, and that's why it's good to know different options.
Absolutely. And now let's do a small conversation to practice some of these phrases.
Great idea.
Hi, Rose. How do you usually go to work?
Hi, Ben. I take the bus. It's comfortable, but sometimes it's slow.
I see. And what do you do if the bus is late?
Well, sometimes I take a taxi, and I ask the driver, how long will it take to get to work?
Perfect. And what about weekends?
On weekends, I ride my scooter to visit friends.
Nice. And sometimes I walk to the subway station if the weather is good.
That's healthy.
Yes. And sometimes I take a plane for long trips.
Very useful, and it's fast, too.
Exactly.
Okay, Ben, I think now our viewers have learned many new phrases about daily routines, asking for directions, and transportation comparisons.
Yes, they have. And don't forget to practice speaking these sentences aloud. That's very important.
Definitely. And another useful tip is to notice the small words like buy, take, and ride. They are very common in transportation English.
Absolutely. For example, I go by bus, or I take the subway, or I ride my bike.
Yes, and with practice, these words become natural.
Great. Before we continue, let's remind our viewers to like this video if it's helping you.
Yes, and if you have a question, write it in the comments.
Perfect. Now, let's continue and talk about more real-life situations with transportation.
Okay. Sometimes you're in a city and don't know where to go. You can ask, is this the right bus to the city center?
Or, which train goes to Central Station?
And if you are at the airport, you can ask, which gate is my flight?
Exactly. And sometimes you need to ask about prices. For example, how much is a bus ticket? Or how much does a taxi cost to the airport?
Very important phrases.
Yes. And now let's talk about emergencies. For example, if you lose something on a bus or train, you can say, "Excuse me, I lost my bag. Can you help me?"
Or if there is a problem, you can say, the bus is broken. What should I do?
Very good examples.
And practicing these small conversations is very useful. It helps you feel more confident in real life.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about tickets and travel times.
Yes, tickets are very important. If you don't have a ticket, you cannot take the bus, train, or plane.
Exactly. And in English, you can ask, "Where can I buy a ticket?" Or, "How much is a ticket to the city center?"
Right, and sometimes people buy tickets online. For example, I bought my train ticket online yesterday.
Perfect. And at the station or airport, you can also ask, "Do you sell tickets here?" Or, "Can I have a one-way ticket or a return ticket?"
Ah, yes. One way means only going to your destination, and return means going there and coming back.
That's right, and these are very useful words for beginners.
Okay, Ben, let's talk about travel times now. For example, when I take the bus to school, I usually say it takes about 40 minutes.
Yes, and we use the verb take again. For example, how long does it take to get to the airport?
Or it takes 2 hours to go by train to my parents' house.
Perfect. And sometimes it's useful to ask, what time does the bus leave? Or when does the train arrive?
Yes. For example, the train leaves at 6 p.m. or the bus arrives at 9:30 a.m.
And notice, in English, we often use leave for departure and arrive for arrival.
That's right. For example, my flight leaves at 8 a.m. and arrives at 11 a.m.
Perfect. Okay, let's do a small practice conversation about tickets and travel times.
Great idea.
Excuse me, where can I buy a ticket to the city center?
You can buy a ticket at the counter or from the machine.
Thank you. And how much is it?
It's $3.
Perfect. And how long does it take to get there by bus?
It takes about 20 minutes.
Great. And what time does the next bus leave?
The next bus leaves at 10:15 a.m.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was simple and clear.
Yes, and these phrases are very useful when traveling in an English-speaking country.
Exactly. Now, Rose, let's talk about real-life situations. For example, sometimes we need to explain why we are late.
Oh, yes, that happens a lot. For example, I'm late because the bus was late.
Right. Or I missed the train because I left home late.
And you can also say there was a traffic jam. Traffic jam means many cars and slow movement.
Good explanation. And sometimes people ask, how do you usually get to school or work? This is a great question to practice English.
Yes, and you can answer with simple sentences. For example, I usually take the bus, or I ride my bike.
Perfect. And sometimes it's fun to talk about your favorite transportation.
Oh, yes, I like walking. It's free, healthy, and I can enjoy the weather.
And I like the subway because it's fast and I can read a book while traveling.
Exactly, and these small sentences are very good for conversations.
Now, Rose, let's talk about vocabulary for transportation problems. Sometimes things go wrong, right?
Yes, for example, if the bus breaks down, you can say, the bus is broken, I need another bus.
Or if you lose your ticket, you can say, I lost my ticket. Can I buy another one?
And if you are late for a flight, you can say, I'm late, is it too late to board?
Perfect. These sentences are very practical for beginners.
Yes, and you know, it's good to practice them with friends or in front of a mirror.
Absolutely. Practice makes speaking easier.
Now, let's do another short conversation about a travel problem.
Excuse me, the bus is broken. What should I do?
Don't worry, another bus will come in 10 minutes.
Thank you. And I lost my ticket. Can I buy a new one?
Yes, of course. Here's a ticket for you.
Great. And how long does it take to get to the city center now?
It takes about 25 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was easy, right?
Yes, and practicing these situations helps a lot in real life.
Now, Rose, another useful topic is talking about plans. For example, if you want to say what transportation you will use tomorrow.
Ah, yes. For example, tomorrow I will take the bus to school, or I will ride my bike to the park.
Right. And you can also ask, which train should I take? Or what time should I leave?
Perfect. And for beginners, it's good to combine will for future actions. For example, I will take a taxi, or I will walk to the station.
Exactly. And you know, small words like to, by, and on are very important.
Yes. For example, I go to school by bus, or I ride on a bike.
Perfect. Okay, Rose, let's do a conversation about future plans. Hi, Rose. What will you do tomorrow?
Hi, Ben. Tomorrow I will take the bus to school.
That's good. And what about the weekend?
On the weekend, I will ride my scooter to visit my friends.
Perfect. I will take the subway to the city center on Saturday.
Sounds good. And I hope the bus will be on time.
Yes, let's hope so.
That's a nice practice for talking about future transportation plans.
Definitely.
And you know, it's also fun to talk about favorite memories with transportation.
Oh, yes. For example, I remember when I took a train trip to another city, I said to my friend, "This train ride is beautiful."
And I remember flying to a new country. I told the flight attendant, "Thank you for the flight. It was great."
Perfect. Sharing stories helps you use English naturally.
Yes, and small sentences like these are easy to remember.
That's right.
All right, Rose. So far, we've talked about transportation types, routines, tickets, travel times, and even future plans.
Yes, and now I think it's a good time to review some important vocabulary.
Great idea. Let's start with the words we use for different transportation. For example, bus, train, subway, plane, car, bicycle, motorcycle, and taxi.
Right, and don't forget scooter and walking. All of these are very common in daily conversations.
Absolutely. And a small tip, we use take with most public transportation. For example, I take the bus or I take the train.
And for things you ride yourself, like bikes or motorcycles, we use ride. For example, I ride my bike or I ride a scooter.
Good point. And for cars, we usually say drive. For example, I drive my car to work.
Exactly. And it's very important to know small words like to, by, and on. For example, I go to school by bus or I ride on a bike.
Perfect. Now let's talk about words for tickets and travel.
Yes. Ticket, one way, return, counter, machine, and boarding gate.
And don't forget verbs like buy, leave, arrive, and wait. For example, I bought a ticket yesterday, or the train leaves at 8 a.m.
Exactly. And for time expressions, we often ask, how long does it take? For example, how long does it take to get to the airport?
Perfect. And another useful set of words is for directions. Turn left, turn right, go straight, intersection, station, bus stop, and taxi stand.
Great. And polite expressions are very important too. Excuse me, please, and thank you. For example, excuse me, where is the bus stop?
Yes, and small questions like, can you help me? Or, is this the right bus? Are very common.
Now, Ben, I think we should practice these words and phrases in a real conversation.
Yes, let's do that.
Excuse me, can you help me?
Of course. What do you need?
I want to take the bus to Central Station. Which bus should I take?
You should take bus number 10. It goes straight to the station.
Thank you. How long does it take?
About 15 minutes.
Perfect. And where is the bus stop?
Go straight for 1 block, then turn left. The bus stop is on your right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was very natural. Using excuse me, thank you, and can you help me makes English polite and friendly.
Absolutely. And small practice conversations like this are very helpful.
Now, Ben, let's talk about linking ideas naturally in conversation.
Good idea. For example, if someone asks, how do you go to work? You can answer and then add more details.
Yes. For example, I usually take the subway. It's fast, and I can read a book while traveling.
Perfect. Or, I take the bus. Sometimes it's slow, but I like listening to music.
Exactly. Adding small extra details makes your English more natural.
Another example, I ride my bike to school. It's healthy, and I enjoy the fresh air.
Very good. And you can also talk about problems. For example, I take the bus, but sometimes it's late.
Yes, and we can combine it with future plans. Tomorrow I will take the train. I hope it's on time. Now, Rose, let's do a practice conversation about a small problem.
Excuse me, the bus is not moving. What should I do?
Don't worry, another bus will come in 10 minutes.
Thank you. And I lost my ticket. Can I buy a new one?
Yes, of course. Here's a ticket for you.
Great. How long does it take to get to Central Station now?
About 20 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And that's a very useful conversation for beginners.
Yes, it's simple, polite, and easy to remember.
Another useful tip is to use small words to link ideas like and, but, so, or because.
Yes. For example, I take the subway and I can read a book.
Or, I ride my bike, but it's difficult when it rains.
Or, I take a taxi because the bus is late.
Perfect. These small words make your sentences more connected and natural.
That's right. So now let's do a short summary to review all the important points.
Great idea, Ben. First, types of transportation. We can walk, ride a bike, ride a scooter, drive a car, take a taxi, take a bus, take a subway, take a train, or take a plane.
Perfect. And remember the verbs we use. Take for public transportation, bus, train, subway, plane. Ride for things you ride yourself, bike, scooter, motorcycle. Drive for your own car. Walk is simple.
Right. And small words like by, on, and to are very important. For example, I go to school by bus. I ride on my bike, or I go to the station.
Excellent. Now, tickets and travel times. We can say, where can I buy a ticket? How much is a ticket? One-way or return ticket? How long does it take to get there? What time does the bus leave? What time does the train arrive?
Perfect. And don't forget the verbs buy, leave, arrive, and wait.
Now, directions and polite phrases. You can ask, excuse me, where is the bus stop? Which bus goes to the city center? Can you help me? Is this the right train? Please and thank you are very important.
Right. And small words like and, but, so, and because help you connect ideas naturally. For example, I take the subway and I read a book. I ride my bike, but it's difficult when it rains. I take a taxi because the bus is late.
Now, let's ask our viewers a question to practice writing in the comments.
Yes, here's a friendly question. Which type of transportation do you use every day, and why?
That's a great question. Write your answer in the comments.
And remember, the best way to improve is to practice speaking, writing, and listening every day.
Exactly. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to English Mindset, and click the bell icon so you won't miss our next lesson.
And if you want more practice, check out another video on our channel. We have many lessons about daily life and English conversations.
That's right. And always remember, learning English is fun, and small steps every day will make you confident.
Absolutely. So keep practicing, stay positive, and enjoy your journey with English.
Yes, and remember everyone, transportation is everywhere in life. You use it every day, so learning these words and phrases will help you a lot.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this lesson and learned a lot.
See you in the next video. Keep practicing and have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.